right, have and have not fans. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. One way or another, the better of the two episodes we got during the 2-hour premiere last night. Before going further, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are new. Seriously, subscribe. And when you click on the bell icon, select all. That way you're notified whenever I do content on the video, new videos, live streams, community tab posts, YouTube stories. I want you to know when I'm posting something because I know you know that you need to watch. And also, if you were unaware, my new game plan, 8 p.m. The episodes come on Tuesday nights now. One episode a week now, sadly. But 8 p.m. to 9, I'm going to be watching the episode live. I'm going to be on Twitter live tweeting and then taking notes about the episode. After the episode's over, around 9, just maybe a few minutes after the episode's over, I'm going to hop on YouTube, do a live stream with the fans. We'll talk about the episode. And then on Wednesdays, I'll have my reviews up. My gosh, I checked the numbers from last night. We had almost 400 people on. The video itself is already, it's like 200 views away from 500. We're almost at 5,000. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're at like 200 or so views away from 5,000. The live stream I did talking about the finale or the premiere, the 2-hour premiere is almost at 5,000 hits. It's over 330 likes, over 78 comments. We're doing that. That's the new game plan. My goodness. So, also, shout out to everyone who gave donations. You didn't have to, but I woke up to a good amount of Cash App and PayPal donations. I appreciate that. You don't have to do it, but it really is appreciated. So you can hit me up on PayPal or Cash App, or you can join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And also go down to the description box. All of my social media links are down there because I want you to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, especially. That way you're up to date when I post stuff. Now, one way or another, 8 out of 10. This episode was it had more rewatchability than Power of Attorney, which I only gave a 5 out of 10. And my goodness, Mama Rose. Okay, how the episode started. We got Jimmy. This is a major retcon. Jimmy was a 7-year-old boy the last time we saw him. And the last time we saw him was like in season 2 or 3. I think it was the episode called Diane Winchill. It was the episode. This was after Amanda had died and they had the funeral. This was when Jim got on television with the reporter Diane. And he was formally going to announce that he was going to run for governor. If you don't remember specifically, it was the episode where Jim was choking Veronica and then he and David got into a fight over it. Basically, Carlos came on live television with Celine and his younger brother, both children of Jim. Jimmy was 7 years old. How the hell you got this early 20s looking dude rolling up into the hospital with a gun? Because I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, did Jim have a third child that we didn't know about? Like, maybe he and Celine had sex again and this child is younger. He's in between Jimmy and Carlos. Carlos is the oldest son who is around Wyatt's age. He was the son that was working under Maggie Day and Landon. He was working at the campaign office. Again, early. This is like mid-season 1 when, or late season 1, when Jim and David were running for the governor's mansion and they had Maggie Day and they had the campaign office. Seriously, every episode is on Hulu. Check them out. But I was thinking, okay, what if Celine and Jim had a third child or a second child before little Jimmy? They had a second child. This child, I guess Celine said, was by Humberto. Again, go back to season 1. Celine had a husband, Humberto, who we never saw, and he was only mentioned a handful of times. So, okay, what if he's actually, Jim's son, but he didn't know because Celine said that she was pregnant by her husband, but it turned out, no. Based on some questions I've done with people and people who have sent me sources, this Jimmy is the same little, okay. A separate video is coming, but in my mentality, the way I'm going to look at it, Remember on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Aunt Viv, yes, I know they switched Aunt Viv to dark skin and light skin. Aunt Viv had baby Nikki, who was a baby. But then fast forward like a season or so later, he's like 7 or 8 years old. And I'm like, what? So, yeah, I'm guessing the same kind of thing is happening here. A lot of people are telling me, oh, this is common in soap operas where, you know, kids disappear and then they are recast and they're older. I mean, on If Loving You Is Wrong, Peter and Paisley, Brad and Alex's kids, we didn't see them for years. And yeah, they were way older near the end of the series when they finally made an appearance in one of the last episodes, but they weren't recast. They weren't young adults. I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, you know what? We're not going to do that. That's going to be its own video, but whatever. This is Jim and Celine's other son. And he basically is rehashing everything Celine told Jim, which honestly makes sense because that's his mother. And I'm pretty sure she talks about, I mean, if it isn't Celine, it's Carlos who's telling him all this stuff because you never cared about us. You never gave us anything. Celine should be sitting on millions of dollars in child support. I have an entire video. Is Celine secretly a millionaire? Using facts from the show because Jim said how much money he was paying her a year. I forgot the exact amount, but the video has all the details. Check it out. I even tweeted it out last night. Celine must have not. I feel like Celine was only spending the bare minimum. Like she was living off of the same amount of money a regular maid would live off of, but she's sitting on millions because Celine always thought Jim was coming back. Celine always wanted to show Jim that it was never about the money. Celine was living in the slums with her children. The sad part is Celine probably was filling her son's head with the idea that Jim was coming back for them, but at the same time was not using any of the money that he was giving her. And basically he's making Jim nearly piss his bedpan, and then it's revealed that he has a toy gun. And I'm sitting up here thinking, oh shit, did he kill Amanda? Is this the guy that killed Amanda? No, it was a toy gun. So he leaves. But then it was funny because Jim is just laughing. He's like, man, he's got balls. He might actually be my son after all. Okay, I did think that was kind of funny. All right, so we go over to Catherine, who's crying about Wyatt. And, okay, let's jump a scene real quick. So it turns out Wyatt's in the hospital. Yeah, I'm going back to Mama Rose. Give me a second. So we go over to Wyatt in the hospital. Apparently he's well. Apparently he didn't lose as much blood as, you know, I guess he got a medical attention in time to save him, but apparently he's ringing the hell out of the nurse's bell because he obviously wants some drugs or something, but the nurse is calling him out on that bull crap. It's like, look, you don't need anything. It's not that serious. You just want something because you're an addict. And then he's like, can you loosen the handcuffs? No, you're a prisoner. So she just leaves because she's annoyed. And the guard is, you know, kind of laughing at the situation, and the nurse offers to bring him a coffee. But it's like, look, he's not going anywhere. Let's go get some coffee. And I'm thinking, what kind of, okay, look, I'm talking about the TV show. I'm not talking about what's going on in real life. And plus, this was filmed in 2019/2018. Police in this show are morons. I've never seen so many half-hearted, lazy employees in my life, even when it comes down to the nurses in some situations. And again, I'm talking about the show, not real life. So if there are any people who work in those fields of law enforcement or medical field, no disrespect to you, I'm talking to the characters in the show. So with the cop gone, little Jimmy comes in and taunts his brother about the situation. We met before. No. Wyatt met Carlos before. Again, I got to do an entire video breaking down how this makes no damn sense, but whatever. Long story short, he's going on about how, oh man, you had everything and you just pissed it all away. You smoked it all away and you really wanted to kill your father. And that was actually kind of funny. How does it feel? You have your own one son kill you and now your other son wants you dead too. It doesn't feel good. Jim was buying the whole act, hook, line, and sinker. So in any case, Wyatt is pretty much pulling a gem himself by calling him things like half-breed and everything like that. And he's like, hey, well, you know what? At least I have something you don't. What's that? A loving mother, a mother who loves me? Yeah. Well, I could have ended up like you. I mean, he isn't wrong. Because despite how you feel about your father, you look at one child who took their life. No, Amanda did not take her own life. Amanda was falling apart. And then you have a son who's a reckless addict. So, believe it or not, Carlos and Jimmy, you got off easy. Even though technically your mother is holding out millions of dollars. But again, that's another video. So, in any case, Jimmy leaves and Wyatt's just sitting there pissed off. Now, the reason I went to Wyatt first before talking about Catherine, it's obvious some time has passed between the time that Wyatt was taken out of his cell, the medic got him, took him to the hospital, they resuscitated him probably due to blood loss, and now he's begging for drugs. How long was Catherine crying for the officer to tell her anything about Wyatt? Because I know it was longer than like some 10 minutes, so I can see why the other people were like, shut up, what are you talking about? Guard, tell me about my son. Guard. And then Mama Rose finally spoke up, because that one inmate, that black woman, she was like, shut up, you know that you saw what happened to her son, which again makes no sense how women and men are in the same wing of the jail, but whatever. So Mama Rose calms her down, and holy crap, when Catherine turned around and saw Mama Rose, I'm like, what? Like, I knew this was going to happen. But again, the shock value. It's like when Candace shoved Oscar out of the window. I knew that was going to happen, but the shock of it actually happened blew my mind. So Mama Rose is all chill. It's like, would you like a cigarette? No. Well, you're going to need to start smoking if you're in here. And then it's like, I don't need your help. I'm Catherine Cryer. And then somebody in the background is like, everybody needs help in here. Shut up. Catherine just snapping on everybody. So Mama Rose, why does she have her recline? She's Mama Rose. I'm surprised Mama Rose didn't have a TV with an extension cord. I'm surprised Mama Rose didn't have a hot meal. I'm surprised she wasn't getting a foot massage. If Mama Rose wanted it, she was going to get it. I don't know what other way to explain it. People are all like, that rundown recliner. To be honest, I'd rather have a recliner that kind of looked like that than one of those big fancy ones. Because, you know, the ones where you sweat and you get stuck to them, as opposed to like the cloth ones or whatever. Not to be fair, you know, this is a police station. I know they would bend over backwards for Mama Rose, but if she wanted a fancy new recliner, I feel like somebody would have went to like Schul's or something and picked one up. So they probably got the only recliner that they had or something along those lines. But either way, she was chilling. She was unbothered. She didn't care. So she's trying to help Catherine, which was surprising based off the dialogue she says later on. Guys, okay, this episode review is going to be long. I think my other one for the Power of Attorney was about 20 minutes. This one might be 30 or 40 minutes because I'm only on like the third, technically the second scene, but there's so much to talk about. All right, so after Catherine continuously cries out, Officer Miller, and then the guy comes in. Okay, so at the end of the episode, I think Officer Miller is the name of the officer that Vinny confronted at the desk. So I guess there's more than one Officer Miller, I guess. Or is it... I probably got the names wrong. I know she said Miller, and then I know at the end of the episode, Vinny's like, what was your name again? It's like I said, my name is Officer Miller. Bow! So I guess they're related, but whatever. Okay, so in any case, the officer comes in. Can you tell me about my son? Shut up. Please tell. Shut up. It's like, so you come in for this bitch. Do you know who this is? And then as soon as she said he said Mama Rose, it's like, what? Mama Rose? And then basically we see what's going down. And a young officer arrested her and was adamant that she was not getting out. And that's why she's staying, because like, hey, I could let you out of here if you want. No, the young man was adamant that I would not be getting out of here. And make sure he's at the front desk, because I want him to meet my family when they come in to get me. So she knew what was going to happen. But in any case, she's pretty much unbothered by everything. The only thing she needed was a light for a cigarette. And pretty much what she was doing here was showing Catherine that she can get what she wants because of who she is. Catherine used to be that person, but she's no longer that person anymore. Which is kind of funny because Mama Rose was taunting her about the smoke, and she's like, I don't want one. And then I think she's like, well, you want to start if you're going to be in here. It's like, do I look like the kind of person who's been in jail? And I'm like, well, Catherine, you've been in jail before, and you smoked before. Seriously, she was smoking a cigarette. Remember the episode where everybody's in the living room of the mansion because they're investigating whether or not Amanda's death was a homicide or suicide? Catherine was smoking. And then she dragged Celine out of the house by her hair. Catherine has been in jail before when her and Veronica got arrested along with David and Jim. So Catherine acting like she's never been in jail makes no sense. Kind of like, you know, when she first got arrested after after the Wyatt shooting thing. She's acting like she's never been in there. It's like, do you know who I am? I'm not using a bathroom where everyone can see. Catherine, this is not new. You've been here before. So in any case, turns out Mama Rose knows who she is. She knows who Wyatt is. She knows the fact that Wyatt stabbed her own son in the neck. And apparently Catherine was like, you know, well, we paid for that. We took care of that. It's over. That's okay. Sure. Whatever you say. Meaning Mama Rose. No, it ain't over. But that goes back to what I was saying before. It's like Mama Rose being willing to help Catherine despite knowing that her son who slit his wrist is the same son who slit her own son. Is like, so why were you wanting to help? I don't know. Maybe Mama Rose was showing pity, but at the same time, it's like because of Catherine's disrespect, she just wanted to show, oh, so hi. Oh, now it's hi. And regardless of whether or not you knew I was Mama Rose, you shouldn't have been so disrespectful. Which, to be honest, that's a fair point. Because Mama Rose didn't even say who she was. Mama Rose didn't even tell Catherine to shut up. She showed mercy because, well, she saw one mother witnessing the potential death of her own son. So, I mean, I do think that if Catherine had responded politely, Mama Rose most likely would have asked the officer to check on Wyatt, despite the fact that her son tried to murder her son. So, that was pretty interesting. And then she takes it next level. I want some too loud. I want some quiet in here. Everybody, you know, shut up. They all sat down kind of with their backs turned to Mama Rose, you know, and it showed like, okay, we won't disturb you. It's too bright in here. Lights went off and Catherine's like, can you ask about my son? Maybe later. And then she started cackling. I love that scene. If the episode had stopped right there, I would have been satisfied. That scene alone was hilarious. All right, so then let's see. I already talked about Wyatt in the hospital. Okay, so we go over to Madison and Jeffrey again. A wasted scene. Long story short, you know, Madison talks Jeffrey out of going over to his mom's house. It's like, no, let's not even bother doing that. That's just ridiculous. And Madison's like, I need to go home to get some rest. And Jeffrey's like, no, and throws him back in bed. He's dancing in the sheets. I didn't care for this scene. That's pretty much it. That's honestly the only thing that happened here. Then we go over to Laura. And then the second surprise of the episode. Okay, so Laura, and remember the man's name is Samuel. He hasn't been named in the show, but his actor posted a video several months ago, and I looked it up recently. The name of Laura's boyfriend, I believe, is Samuel. And, you know, she's going over the details about how Veronica gave her all these clothes and everything. It's like, I don't know if Derek's going to like that. And I'm like, what did he say? Wait, he said Derek, but I know that he can't be talking about the Derek that, what? Next thing you know. Derek walks in. I'm like, what? Oh, actually, before that, I think that Samuel was like, oh, tomorrow I can come over to case the joint. So remember, he's going to put on a pool boy routine, as in he's going to be dressed up pretending to be a pool boy in order to, you know, look over Veronica's, you know, house and everything to see if that's a good mark for them. But yeah, it looks like that's going to happen the next day. So Derek walks in. I'm like, I know good and hell well Derek is not involved. Derek is still in the game. Now, it seems like Derek, I couldn't believe it because apparently, for starters, based on this scene alone, we now see where Candace gets it from. When Hannah kept saying you get this from your father, she was not exaggerating. Like the way Derek carried himself, the switch, he pretty much went from like, you know how Steve Urkel acted to how smooth and debonair he was as Stefan Urkel. Now, I'm not saying the change was that drastic, but if you just look at the body language and even Derek's speech pattern, I'm like, he went from like gentleman to freaking pimp. And I'm like, well, damn. So basically, he's in charge of. Remember, Quincy did the same thing to Candace because in the early episodes, like, what, that boy got you out here running the cons again. Basically, you know, Candace and Quincy would, you know, pick out different marks. And then, you know, Candace would be assigned to go to this person and con them and, you know, extort them. Pretty much the same way Derek seems to be doing to Laura and Samuel. And who else? Some people are already saying, wait, could Samuel be one of Derek's sons? I didn't really catch that from the dialogue, but he did say he had 3 sons who are college age and they all play sports. So I don't know. But in any case, Derek is showing no remorse here. He's like, okay, well, you got the job with Veronica Herring. That's great. Because number one, he smells deception over the fact that Veronica gave Laura all those clothes. He knows there's some foul play involved. Remember, we all know, but remember, Tyler could twist our arms here. We all know Laura is a pawn for Veronica to most likely be killed by the thugs in the hood in order for them to think that they killed Veronica so they can leave her alone. Maybe we should go into hiding. But in any case, Derek, based off his own personal vendetta, because Veronica has threatened him so many times. Remember, Veronica has threatened Derek because she felt disrespected the time that she invited him over in the episode, I believe, The Broken Washer. She wanted to have sex. Derek said no. And ever since then, she feels like, you know, okay, I want to put you in your place. And then when he got called over to bring her a list of phone numbers and contacts of the people he used to run with back in the day, he was like, you keep pushing me, I want to go back to that life. Now, the debate could be made. Was Derek really clean? Was Derek not in that life anymore? But Veronica pushed him back. Here's my thoughts on this. When it comes to Derek's behavior in regards to being a hoodlum, doing drugs, you know, sexually abusing women, putting hits on people and all, I think he was out of that life. But when it came to him being like the ringleader of a con artist ring or prostitution ring or whatever you want to call it, I say prostitution ring because that reminds me of Broderick and Rocky at the hotel. And now you got Derek who's running, you know, basically a burglary game. That actually makes sense because remember, he got out of jail because Veronica got him out. They had sex. And then he got put on the straight and narrow path working as like a contractor and whatnot. You know, he's like a handyman for, Veronica kind of, you know, recommended him to a bunch of her rich friends. So it's possible that Derek could have had marks at all the places he's worked. Probably not the Cryer estate yet, but, you know, all the rich people he's worked for. He's probably had people like Laura and Samuel and who knows how many other people work for people and rob them blind. That's going to be his own video. But long story short, they want to take Veronica for every single cent she has. All right. So then we go over to Marty. He's meeting with Don and John about the whole situation about the maid, Hannah, being the executor. Don and John are mad about it because it's like, wait a minute. We're her accountants because remember, based off everything we're learning about these characters, you really do see why Catherine gave the money to Hannah because she cannot trust anyone. Everybody has their own personal vendettas and agendas. But basically, Marty's going to set up a meeting with Hannah tomorrow so Don and John can ask her any questions. Hey, no foul play. Catherine Cryer has made it very clear what it is she wants to do. It is Hannah. We can't do anything about it. And apparently they brought up something about somebody who owned what was called the Sims account. Apparently they tried to make it seem like the person in charge wasn't in their right state of mind and they got control of the money that way. But Marty's warning, look, Catherine's of sound mind. Don't try no funny. They're probably going to die. Let's be real. All right, so then we go over to Veronica, not enjoying the sex. Whose is it? Tell me you like it. Whose is it? Whose is it? Tell me. It's like, get off me, boy. It's like, how you going to be wet before you go in? I'm like, well, Veronica, he was in the pool, so I'm just saying. But in any case, long story short, Veronica was nothing more than comic relief in these 2 episodes, which wasn't bad, but I really wanted something more from her. But basically, she kicks him out. He's pissed off because his ego was hurt. And, look, it's Veronica Harrington coming with the one-liners and for the 1-inch jokes. So he's like, you know what? Keep talking like that. Somebody gonna kill you. It might be me. He ain't gonna do it. But in any case, he leaves and Veronica passes out like, these little boys. So then we go over to Don and John. I believe they, they go back to Daisy Steaks because remember, they're like, oh yeah, let's get the champagne. We're going to get the best meal. I'm thinking to myself, these 2 dudes ordering food like they just got their stimulus check or tax refund when they need to be ordering from the Dan Dollar menu. So in any case, they are already moved the money and they are nervous because if Hannah finds out, they're going to get in trouble. But basically, one of them suggests, why not talk to a judge to be the executor, but they're like, nah, because if we go to a judge and they're going to look into everything thoroughly, and apparently they've had a lot of dirty deals under the table, so their mess could be exposed by trying to steal the power away from Hannah. But basically, what they come to the agreement of, whoa, this is a maid. She don't know what's going on. We move that money, but she's in charge of it. So if anything goes wrong, she's going to be blamed. So they figure that they're made in the shade. They're good to go. So we go over to the Malone bar. Once again, they try to plead with Hannah to leave, and she doesn't. Candace calls in Milo. They come in, dragging her, kicking and screaming. What the hell? What kind of shit is this? Let go of me. And I'm like, Hannah, this was for your own good. Trust me, it was for your own good. Because she tried to push him back. I'm thinking, Candace, the last time you sent someone after your mama, she stabbed him, and he died. So I was like, Lord, is she going to pull a Wyatt and bust that beer bottle and cut his neck? Nope, that didn't happen. All right, so here we go. David gets back after, driving in Leo's car to kill time, while Madison and Jeffrey were doing what they did. And we meet a new character, Crystaline Naomi, a.k.a. Jasmine from Sisters, Alyssa. Turns out she's a friend of Erica's. She's also worked for Candace, and she's, a whore / prostitute. And she was instructed by Erica that if anything happened to her, which again begs the question, how would she know what happened to Erica? Anyway, come at 12:18 and show David this video. Apparently, the video was about her. Hey, if something ever happened to me, this is the video that you need to see. I wanted to tell you, yes, I was hired to con you, but as time went on, you were so kind to me. You treated me better than anyone else. And you were so amazing in the sack. I really loved you. And there was more to the message, but he cut it off. And it's like, because I instructed my friend to give you this video at 12:18 on the full moon because, you remember. I don't know exactly what the reference is, but I'm guessing it has to do with the first time they had sex. Or the first time they said, I love you, which I don't think happened that night, because that was when they were in the tub. That was in season 5, episode 21. I think it was the first time they had sex. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time they had sex. So, long story short, Alyssa's like, well, the video has more. And I'm like, yeah, show us more. This is the kind of stuff I wish Tyler Perry did more often. Flashbacks, videos, something along those lines. We could have stuff like this, like Amanda, Warlock, Quincy. I'm not saying everybody has to have a video message, but just to have like a scene with them back on the show would bring back so many memories. I would love Melissa. Oh, but in any case, Alyssa is like, okay, so my girl told me everything about you. And apparently you're really good. And when friends tell friends about how good a partner was, they want a taste of it too. It's like, well, Erica was your friend. Well, give it to me. No, but okay. Can we talk about David showing a level of intelligence, which I'm so happy about? Who are you? Are you a whore? Do you work for Candace? Did my ex-wife Veronica send you? Thank you. David, you've been through too much shit to not ask these questions. Thank you. But this girl is on her knees begging to have sex with David. And he's like, Leo, take care of her. And he goes back in the house. All right, so here we go. Oliver meets up with Akil because in the last episode, he threatened, is like, look, you better find a way to come up to Detroit right now. So they meet up, have a drug exchange. They pretty much talk about all the information between them. Apparently, Oliver's father wants to be president, but he's not a politician. You don't need to be a politician to be a president nowadays. Ha! Jab at Trump. But basically, Oliver is on Akil's case. Like, look, if you want to stay in this country, an immigration pun. I mean, not pun, but a threat, kind of like, with Rocky and Broderick. You better give me all the information you got on Candace and everything. You better find out everything there is to know. I'm going to have your ass deported. And then he leaves and takes the drugs. Did anyone else notice Oliver sweating profusely in this scene? Like, I don't know if did he need a hit that bad? Was it raining and he got into the car? Was it hot in his car? That was why he was sweating. Something ain't right with that boy. So then we go over to a list. This chick is dancing in the fountain, and when I tell you, Lord have mercy, the Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want. Miss Parker. But David, I love David just looking through the window. Leo is like, ma'am, could you please, you're just embarrassing yourself. Could you please leave? Just please, ma'am. And then Madison comes downstairs. David can't even, turn to face and was like, look, it's okay. I'm leaving. Thanks for allowing me to stay. I'm just going to go home and get rest before I go to work. Okay, it's all good. And then David's like, fine, that's good. And then David, opens the door. Madison goes out. Mr. Harrington, there's a woman dancing in your fountain. Yes, security will take care of it. When this fool Madison's walking to the car, those legs, my body all over your body and your body all over my body. It's your body, baby. Dance like she in a music video. But in any case, I just love how you see David creeping through the fountain because the curtain. Alyssa knows that he was watching. That's why she was putting on that show. So in any case, work it, girl, work it, honey. Yes. Hey, you. I think Madison was talking to Leo. Hey, good luck with that. And then he gets in the car. Woo, work it, bitch. Yes. Madison, get your ass home. All right, so then we go over to Benny. He's calling Veronica about how, hey, you represented that fool Derek who's seeing my mom. Can you give me his address? Veronica's like, bring a condom, some of the small ones you buy, and come on over. I'll give you the address. And Benny's like, shit, so he leaves. And then we get to the last scene. The Malones roll up. We got Vinny, we got Sandy, and 3 other guys. They're all going to the jail to get Mama Rose out of there. Officer Miller, who really reminds me of the dude who played Scooby-Doo in the Cartoon Network live act. Hang on, let me get the. Wait, where's my? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so they're barking at him like a dog. Well, Vinny is pissed. He wants to know why his mother is in jail, and is like, do you not know who we are? And apparently, okay, hang on. Let me get the actor's name. Bear with me. I believe Robbie Amell. It isn't him, but he looks like a younger version of Robbie Amell, who actually looks pretty young himself. But in any case, he's like, look, she was driving under the influence. I arrested her. She's not going anywhere. You can come back in the morning when the court's open and pick her up. And these are the Malones. He's like, you must be new. No, I'm not new, which begs the question of, so who is this guy? Like, does he really not know who the Malones are? Does he not care? Did other officers kind of tell him about the Malones? And, hey, if you see the Malones, just kind of leave them alone? Or was he like one of the good cops who's like, look, I don't care who a person is, name, title, rank. If they break the law, they're going to be behind bars. And obviously, he's nervously trying to hold his own against Vinny. And then Vinny finally backs off. And then one of the guys covers the camera with his hand. And, excuse me, officer, what's your name again? Like I said before, my name is Officer Miller. And when I tell you my jaw dropped, check it out on Instagram. I actually did a live stream during the last 10 minutes of the episode. That was my live reaction. I'm like, what the fuck? He dead. I know some people are like, he alive. Guys, he's dead. Tyler Perry, if you're watching, I don't know I doubt it, but he dead. The dude's dead. So basically, Sandy is shocked. The other guys are like, who? Because they were like, I probably covered, the recoil of the gunshot. Like, huh, I mean, that's the end of the episode. But let me say this, and I'll do another video on this about, Benny killing the cop and how they're going to get away with it. In light of I don't want to talk about this in this video, but there are cops who just do their job. And sad to say, they are victims of things like this. Just like there are black people who aren't even committing crimes. Or even if they are committing crimes or get caught committing crimes, they don't deserve to be brutally murdered like that. You get arrested, not crippled, not murdered. And when there are cops who are just trying to do their job because someone broke the law, Mama Rose was taken into jail. She wasn't brutalized. She wasn't killed. And then, sad to say, this young officer died in the line of duty while holding his ground. So rest in peace to Officer Miller. And I will be doing a separate video on this topic because there were a lot of people who felt a kind of way about both of these episodes. From the raunchiness to scenes where like the cop being killed. The elitism and racism and bigotry of calling people half-breed. There's a lot to talk about. So with that being said, I just wanted to do 2 videos talking about each episode on their own. And I'll have plenty of theory / discussion videos / reaction videos coming later the week. So this is the 4th video I recorded today. I already recorded the first episode review, this episode review, the teaser at the end of this episode for next week's episode, and then the other teaser that actually showed us a bunch of scenes from the upcoming episodes. So these are the only 4 videos I'll do today, and then I'll do more later in the week. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought of this episode. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Better than the first one. It had a lot of oh my gosh moments, but I'm definitely docking points because Jimmy should not be that old. I could have done without the Jeffrey and Madison stuff. The Derek stuff was phenomenal. I feel like they did drag their feet with the Don and John scenes a bit. We didn't really need that many scenes with them. And the list goes on. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And as always, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or Patreon for $1 a month. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video.